Is it good on? I'm just waiting for it to kick on here.
Yep.
Do. Okay.
It's a working.
It's
up and running.
Excellent.
Excellent.
Yes. Okay, so there's that, and we'll just give everybody a couple minutes. And there's Scott watching, and Jennifer Delaney.
Hey, yo.
And Neil is joining us.
Neil.
Connie Cleary. Oh, nice.
I can see Cleary now.
And Lawrence is here. Wow. The night owls are creeping on in here.
Ooh-hoo.
Rich is here.
You.
Yes, hello everybody. Hi Ed. Okay, yeah, we're just gonna give it a few minutes. We'll probably keep it a little shorter than like a full hour.
Yes, whatever
Maybe
you want to
do like a little half-hour chat.
Mm-hmm.
Because we still have to film some video for the Oscars. And then...
oh, that's right.
Yeah, and then I need some rest.
Yes, because we have a big day tomorrow.
Yes.
Or a big morning. Whatever.
Mm-hmm. You'll have to... Can you
have to
read
get up and eat breakfast.
Can you read the comments, Grim?
You can't read those?
Not from this far away.
Okay.
Or here, I'll see if I can pull it up on my phone.
Yeah, it's probably...
I usually do, but...
Because I have to kind of
most of the time I can check the screen.
Yeah. Welcome back, Cotters. This is Lauren Hitchcock. And who was the girl in the Rotten But Not Forgotten video that disappeared? I don't know. How did that...
I'm not sure.
But not forgotten. Oh, you mean Rotten Reels? Oh,
Rescued Reels, you mean?
Yeah, Rescued Reels. Oh, that's what we say, but that's the slogan, Rotten But Not Forgotten. I got to watch it again. I have to check it out. I'm not really sure what commercial that was.
Huh, okay. Yeah, I don't know.
Let's see. I'll hang over for a bit. Aha. Hiya, says Kev Thulu. Oh, lots going on here. Bone Jangler, your dreams were your ticket out. Oh. Since WKRP.
Reb says I miss watching an old movie on a projector then playing it backwards in school.
Yeah, that's funny.
That's funny, yeah. Yeah, I miss the that you would get the AV cart with the projector and watch an old movie.
Oh, yeah.
Fun time. Okay, well, let's introduce ourselves and get started.
Don't forget that old movie was once a new movie.
It was 90 years ago.
Okay. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another fun-filled episode of The Mummy and the Monkey's Harry Scary Hangover.
Our after show chat show, don't you know?
Hey,
and
right.
We usually talk about movies that we've watched, and we interact with you guys and read comments.
A myriad of subjects we could talk about.
Yeah, we've talked about other topics too, like vintage Halloween decorations, favorite foods we like, all kinds of nostalgia
But
things.
Tonight we're going to do something different. We're going to talk about the world of politics because it is a hotbed of conversation right now. I'm just kidding.
Grim.
I couldn't wait to April Fools.
We're not that kind of show.
Welcome to Meet the Depressed.
Oh my goodness. Save that for the news shows.
Save it for after the after show.
Yeah, there's other channels that deal with that.
Yeah, both any things we do on our YouTube channel are obviously provide escape from everything that you go through every day, no matter what it is.
It's escape from the everyday,
from the daily grind. You know, this is a place to chill and hang out and have a good old time.
And Roman Adventures is watching. He says Cleveland representing.
Hey yo.
Hey Roman, good to see ya. And he's got a YouTube channel also where he does videos.
Nice.
So that's cool.
Check it out.
A fellow thrifter.
Yes.
Okay, so you found a whole stack of film noir movies at a flea market.
A couple of summers ago.
Last summer or 2 summers ago?
Yep, I was all by myself walking around the flea market, and there's a fella there who had this giant clear zipper bag.
And we're just now starting to watch some of them.
Full of there must be 30 DVDs in there.
But we watched 2 of them.
And,
we didn't watch all 30 yet.
But it's not just like, When Harry Met Sally, Forget Paris,
No.
Hoosiers. It's not like the random movies. They were all
film noir
titles.
All noir. Yeah.
Some Hitchcock stuff in there too. Some of the stuff he did, film noir things. But it was all, literally, it was The Uninvited, and then some of the stuff we're going to talk about tonight.
Mm-hmm.
One of them wasn't from that, just to be all honest. That was one the first one on top there was one I found randomly. But it doesn't matter. So we just started picking through these noir, and we're going to probably do another noir night pretty soon, because that was a blast.
I love it.
Because we were watching stuff that was on, was it Cozy? What channel was it we were watching?
I think the movies channel, 55.3.
That doesn't matter, but what was the name of the channel?
I think it was Movies. It was called Movies.
And
they had, like, it was Sunday, one of those Sunday nights, they had a noir night.
Yeah, they themed their nights out.
We watched one of the movies, and it was good.
One night they had Godzilla movies, all night. And then another night they had all these like film noir movies and these detective movies. Yeah. So I'm like, I said we also have a bunch we need to go through as well. So we watched one on broadcast TV, and then we popped in one after that just to kind of keep the thing going. So a couple nights we watched these two movies, and the first one we watched was that one on the bottom.
The Big Heat.
The Big Heat. Now,
we watched The Big Heat, and you could probably get these at your library.
Yeah.
We found these at a flea market.
Yeah, some of these are, you might be able to and you might not be able to, because I think some of these, if you look at them, here, let me see that
they could probably order them.
Yeah, you could probably order them. I know some of them
the library could.
This one looks like it's a legit
like if you can't find them anywhere else.
A lot of them were from like the Warner archive, like if you have to go through them.
Or maybe you could pick them up used on eBay or something.
Because when you get it, it's got a printed thing and everything, a disc and the jacket, but the back of the disc is blue, like they burn it special, like on demand.
Oh, yeah, print on demand.
Yeah, so they do the Warner archive, but this one isn't one of those, so you could probably get it, you could probably borrow it from a library.
So this one was cool. So, I'm trying to remember the whole story for that. It was like there was a cop, but there were like
this movie was so good. This one stars Glenn Ford,
but really the chick was the hero.
Gloria Graham and Lee Marvin, who has been known to play a lot of different, a lot of heavy roles, especially in westerns later on. But Glenn Ford was a big leading man, in the 40s and 50s.
Yeah, he was in a lot of movies back then.
Yeah, he was almost like Rock Hudson type of, leading, very masculine, I'm the guy, I'm the man. But he plays a detective, in this movie, who is not one to be on the take. Loathe any kind of criminals. And remember,
I'm checking comments while you're talking.
So the story goes...
And we'll read comments in a few minutes.
So he had a wife and a kid, Glenn Ford, this cop, and he was true blue. I mean, he was like the straight detective.
He was an honest, detective kind of guy, trying to do the right thing.
Meanwhile, the whole city's corrupt.
Had a wife and a daughter.
Yeah,
the whole city he's working for is corrupt AF.
Well, the police force, especially
the cops were bought. They were paid off.
Yeah, the top guy was totally working with one of the local gangsters who was running for office.
And this one was from the 1940s, I believe.
Yes,
I think they both were 1940s.
Yeah,
yeah.
And it was really good because I don't know how much we give away, but basically he gets into it with the bad people, with the bad guys, and they don't like what he's doing. So of course they want to get him out of the picture. And unfortunately, they go for something near and dear to him, which would be his wife. It's a spoiler alert.
Well, they threaten him at first, and then they end up...
She gets in the car ahead of him to start the car up, and you see it coming.
The car explodes,
a mile away,
and she's a goner.
She's killed in this car thing, and so now he's on the warpath, right? He goes out, he's going to get all these sons of bees that ruined his life, and there's the one woman
what's her name? That lady,
Gloria Graham, is the actress.
Yes, so she's the girlfriend of the mob boss guy.
She's a young girl
who's paying off the cops, and she's a young lady in her 20s, and kind of dumb.
She's Lee Marvin's girlfriend in the movie.
Okay, and it's she's fur coats, diamonds. She's just this
Yeah, Lee Marvin is sort of a henchman for the big criminal, the big boss. And the big boss is wants to run for office, some political office in the city, and because they keep talking about election.
But the boyfriend was beating her too.
Lee Marvin's character was a total. Yeah, he was not a good guy, but she was kind of a free spirit, and she was even flirting with the Glenn Ford's cop character.
He ran away. I wanted to pick him up.
You're not going to do it.
Sorry, buddy.
Too much distractions. Just come out of focus here.
Sorry,
because it's distracting to me talking here.
Go ahead.
So Anyway, so Glenn Ford goes after the mob, right? He's going after these guys. He's going to find out who killed his wife. He wants to know who planted the car bomb in his car. That's his main thing.
Oh yeah.
And there's some other dude who's running around who's some guy they hired out of Chicago. And they're all F-ups. They can't do their job right, of course, and the main boss guy's mad at them and everything. They know. So there's internal stuff going. But the free spirit girl that played by Gloria Graham, who has a weird resemblance, uncanny resemblance to, what was her name?
Jennifer Tilly?
Jennifer Tilly, I thought.
Yeah, she does remind me of Jennifer Tilly.
She has that kind of vibe.
Yeah. Kind of like a little bubbly and...
Yeah.
And... She's like she starts out in this movie as like just the girlfriend of this crime guy.
You don't think much of her.
Gangster guy. Yeah. So you don't think much of her, and then later on she befriends the cop who's the good guy.
Yeah.
And she ends up being the hero. She saves him.
Basically, yeah. But yeah. What a great movie. I mean,
it's really good.
It's fun to watch stuff, especially that goes back this far, that really, tries to tell an interesting story. A sordid story. It's not the most noir movie I've seen, as far as the noir aspect of it, but it's definitely a great crime drama, and with a lot of weird twists and stuff, and interesting character development. I thought, but really liked this movie.
Yeah, it was very likable, and yeah, it was a good watch.
Yeah, I mean, we love all kinds of movies, different genres like science fiction, action,
horror films,
crime, obviously horror. Yeah. But boy, it's like so much fun to sit down and watch a crime drama. I love them.
Yeah. All right, so let's read comments and then we'll talk about the other movie.
The Big Heat.
Yeah, that was actually Jack, our cat Jack. I was hoping he would let me pick him up, and he did not. But he came over wanting to see what we were doing.
Well, we're talking. You know how animals are. If you talk, and like little kids, they think you're talking to them.
Yeah, Jack wanted to be a part of the conversation.
Someone wants to know about the Mickey Mouse you found.
Oh, it was just something silly that was at the store, and I took a picture of it. That's all.
Roman Adventure says Jennifer Tilly was good in Bride of Chucky. I would have to disagree with you and say she was great.
She was excellent in Bride of Chucky.
Everyone loves her for
Everyone
that,
loves Jennifer Tilly.
Jennifer Tilly. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. She's cool. She's still a cool lady.
Jennifer or Meg Tilly? Which one? I mean, have you seen Meg Tilly?
No.
She's in Psycho 2.
Are they sisters?
Oh, yeah.
So they look alike?
Meg's not as voluptuous as Jennifer. But they have
different body shapes.
Yeah, but they have that sort of like I don't know. I don't even know what their ethnicity is. I detect a little bit of maybe Asian mixed in.
I don't know. I'd have to look it up on the Google.
But whatever. I'm just saying.
Okay. Roman says you guys missed a lot of horror movies at the bins today.
What?
Uh-oh.
Dang it! We got to go every day.
Uh-oh.
How you doing there, by the way?
Yeah, let's see. And someone thought the cat was Louie. No, that's Jack. Louie was on our other show.
Some good stuff. Speaking of crime dramas.
Bone Jangler, Double Indemnity. Yes. From 1944. Scarlet Street, 1945.
Oh.
And Where the Sidewalk Ends, 1950 are all great film noir movies.
Oh, it sounds... and another one that I just got from the library, again, we're going to have to watch it. We're going to actually do a noir night this week. Mm-hmm. Another one. Night of the Hunter.
Night of the Hunter?
Yeah, with Robert Mitchum.
Oh, okay.
I've heard so much good stuff about this movie.
Cool.
And I finally want to finally see it.
All right, so the other movie that we saw was Public Enemy,
and
it is starring James Cagney, Jean Harlow,
oh, I love this.
Edward Woods, Joan Blondell, story by Kubek Glassman and John Bright, directed by William A. Wellman.
Maybe I think Scarlet Street might be in that pile. So
okay, James Cagney is the Public Enemy, and this one I believe is like
1930.
Oh, it's 30? Might be a little bit older.
It's 33, I think.
Yeah, 1931, actually.
Earlier than King Kong.
This one's another pre-code movie. Mm-hmm. A pre-code film noir movie. So this movie... Yes.
A totally different era than, obviously...
Different era.
The 40s.
Different vibe.
Yeah. And what a different... Okay, so this is what I think is interesting about... I'm going to go off on a tangent, just bear with me.
Yes.
But, to me... For me, I'm well up there in my age, so I lived through the 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s. To me, like anything after like 95 up until now seems very much the same. To me, there's not a lot of big difference in the feel of the decades. Okay. But if you look back at like, you could totally when you put the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, you see these huge changes in music, clothing style, culture. It's like so different. The Roaring 20s, the 30s, you know, whatever was going on there, and then the 40s with the war, and then the 50s or the post-war with the America booming and doing everything.
The atomic age.
The 60s, you get the peace, love, hippie, Vietnam stuff. The 70s, a continuation of that, but then more
hippie and disco.
More into disco and then,
mod.
And then the 80s, well, the 80s was like
the 80s.
Was everything exploded.
They were the 80s.
And then the 90s, you know, there was something going on there, Saved by the Bellish type stuff or whatever. But then it just kind of gets very homogenous. Nothing really seems that different. But to me, from let's say the late 90s until now.
Okay. So what does that have to do with that one?
What it has to do with this is that so this is 1930s. This is 1940s.
So you could tell the differences in styles and everything.
Different.
Yeah.
As far
that's
as
a good
not
point.
only the styles, but the crime itself, the way it's shown, all bad. All these, you know, the bad people are really bad. This really focuses on the bad people.
So this one is starring James Cagney, and he is a bad guy in the movie, and he starts out as even a bad kid, and it showed you like when he was a kid, he would steal and run around with the other bad kids, and he like had a rough childhood.
And I would have to say, after watching this, because I may have seen this years ago, but I mean, and I know the famous grapefruit in the face of the girls at the breakfast table scene. That's the big iconic scene when they get in a little fight at the breakfast table, and Jimmy Cagney just takes this grapefruit, this cut in half, and just smushes it in her face, you know, to shut her up, because she accuses him of like being with someone else, and he just says, "Hey, whatever."
Yeah, yeah.
But that's the big iconic scene from this one. This and at the very end, but
he and later on he becomes a bootlegger. You know, and because it was during the Prohibition era.
This reminded me a little bit.
And they were selling the hooch.
You can kind of see where Goodfellas maybe have gotten some inspiration from a movie like this.
I could see that.
Because it starts out... Now, Goodfellas is a whole different movie as far as... It's a masterpiece.
That's a wonderful movie, yeah.
It's a masterpiece. But this one has that sort of a thing where they show them start as kids, and you get to see them evolve just a little bit. They don't harp on it. I mean, it kind of goes pretty fast. You know?
For a couple scenes, you see them as kids doing bad stuff, and then they continues on into adulthood.
Yeah, and then why not do this?
It goes from bad to worse.
And they even have a contrast between James Cagney and
his brother.
Who is a straight guy. You know, he wants to join the military and do good things for the family and not be a crook.
He's more, I guess he would be considered a square. You know,
straight-laced guy.
He was more straight edge, just trying to do the right thing.
They even make, I'm pretty sure they even make sort of a reference, like one of the famous lines of Goodfellas is Ray Liotta's character, Henry Hill. He says something like, "Working is for suckers." You know, I think there's a Jimmy Cagney makes it as a kid. They make when he's younger, he makes a reference to something like that, like you know, what are you doing? Why are you doing what you're doing? You could just steal stuff and be on the take and make it easier.
So it's just a series of from bad to worse, and like the drama going on with him and his family. And
it was and Jean Harlow's in this as well for a little bit, right?
I think she's the girlfriend.
Yeah, she's but there again, this is another one of those pre-code movies that there's some stuff in here.
Oh yeah, where they hint at
that I blushed a little bit.
They hint at some flings, people having some relations.
Yes. In ways that you would think that you would never see in a movie this old, but
you're like, wow, this is 1931, and they had an overnight, you know.
Well,
they were together overnight. Yeah.
What does that sound? Okay, well, not really.
Well, the woman.
There's a scene towards the end.
How do we explain this tactfully?
Where there's a woman in this movie, it's not Jean Harlow, who is basically kind of like, she's not a madam, but she has that kind of vibe. Like she's like she's not a mall,
experienced,
like a gangster mall, but she's helps out the bad guys. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
And James Cagney's character is wasted, and she takes him to the bedroom.
She takes advantage of him,
and basically, he forgets he's so drunk, and the next morning she's kind of like grinning at him and going, "Hey, what about last?" She goes, "About last night." I think that's where that line came from. He goes, "What are you laughing? What are you smacking about?" She goes, "What? It's about last night." And he looks at her like, he goes, "We did," and then he gets mad at her for like taking advantage of him.
He gets mad at Liam.
Oh, it's crazy.
But it's like, whoa.
Again, I know it might sound tame now, but
it's very tame by today's standards what you see in films. Please. But when you
watch it in the context of when it was made.
Yeah, if you put on your 1931 glasses and you're watching
and you're in an audience full of people, that are watching this movie.
Because that was
holy mackerel.
Oh my, risque for that time.
Yeah, there's that, and there's another scene where Jean Harlow's kind of like a motherly figure to James Cagney, and she puts his face like in her bosom, and says something like, "You poor boy," And again, I mean, if you watch it, like if you imagine yourself in the 1930s when things were very, probably wholesome in a way, in a way-ish, because you're coming off the Roaring '20s, which was crazy.
Yeah.
With the flappers and the prohibition and everything.
Well, it was still, people have always been people. We'll just say that.
100%.
People are gonna.
And I liked that,
do people stuff.
A movie this old didn't pull those punches. They just went out and they were telling a story, and that made it gritty. I mean, it made these people not just like cut out characters out of a comic book.
One day I want to do a whole discussion just on pre-code film because it's so fascinating.
Well, there was nudity in some of these older films.
Some of them did have nudity, yeah. Before the Hays Code.
But anyway, anyone.
So there's 88 of you guys chatting. Wow, this is great.
That's pretty big for a hangover.
And let's see. I
like Ricky Bobby song that says graphic content insults imagination. That's
some
true.
Older PG movies would now be rated R today,
correct.
Says Reb Ohio. Yep. Yeah. Definitely things are, different how they different sensibilities, I suppose.
Rest in peace to Gene Hackman, says Jenny B. Delaney. Yeah, Jenny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's sad news. One of my favorite character actors for sure.
Naked Jane in pre-code Tarzan, says Scott.
Yes. I'm picturing that scene. Yes. She's in the river.
She's in the water naked.
Yeah. That's the one. That's the scene I have in my head. Even that
that's
old.
The one.
It's just kind of. Because I'm sure that shocked a lot of people back then.
Movies are better when not done in a big studio, says Reb. Yeah, some of the indie movies and smaller stuff are some of those movies are good. Although this one was put out by Warner Brothers, so that was a big studio film.
Yeah, it's definitely a movie.
And this one is saying Columbia Pictures. So these are big studio movies, and they're good though.
And like Goodfellas, it doesn't glorify the criminal element. It shows you that.
It shows you crime doesn't pay.
It doesn't. It does, and it might not be the kind of payment you want to make.
Yeah. It might pay you back in a bad way.
You could have done so much better in your life, but the choice is yours. That's what this life's about.
Mm-hmm.
And but totally recommend that. Anything James. And a Jimmy Cagney movie we want to see is A Man of a Thousand Faces. It's a Lon Chaney biopic, which I'm surprised we haven't seen yet, but because it kind of has to do with horror because he portrays Lon Chaney.
Oh yes, mm-hmm.
So we need to check that out.
And Sean commented, James Cagney was awesome as Lon Chaney in A Man of a Thousand Faces. So it's funny you brought that up. He just now.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if you saw that comment.
And then a more current comment, Roman Adventure says the new Monkey movie is not bad. Okay, well. I'll have to check that out. Of course, right? At some point.
Yeah. Cool. Let's see.
He's okay. Well, I mean,
Paul thinks it's okay. Yeah, people have different opinions on it.
I just love to watch anything that's entertaining. I mean, that sounds stupid to say maybe, but I don't know. I love old movies. I love black and white movies. Ever since I was a wee monkey.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of interesting movies out there. So, we just wanted to share a couple of the noir films we've seen recently. If you guys saw a good movie recently, put it in the comments. And, maybe we'll have to look it up and watch it if there's any movies that you guys recommend.
But like we said earlier in the beginning of the show, that we're gonna keep it short.
Yeah, right? We'll probably wrap this up in about another couple minutes or so.
I'll let you decide.
So that gives people time if they want to add in some more comments before we sign off. Because we need to film a video for the Oscars.
That's right. We're going to be included in this year's, for last year's picks of the Oscars.
Oscars. It's the horror film version of the Oscars for 2024. So.
If I can find it,
and it's hosted by the Horror Addicts on YouTube. So that's their YouTube channel, the Horror Addicts, and they do a lot of in-depth movie reviews. So their movie reviews are really fun. very entertaining. They put out a lot of good content, and every year they have the Scares Horror Film Awards.
Yeah, it's usually.
So how fun is that?
Held, right before the Oscars. And if you haven't seen The Substance yet, definitely go see. Definitely get that movie. It's at
I love that one.
You can rent it now.
Well, we did a whole chat about it a few weeks ago.
Speaking of the Oscars.
Yeah.
And then the Oscars is.
I hope The Substance wins something.
It may with the Oscars.
Maybe it will win an Oscar.
Yeah, we won't tell you what we're doing the award for.
We're not going to say which category, but there's multiple categories for like actor, favorite movie, effects, that sort of thing. I think music as well. Anything you could think of that's horror film related. Yes. It's like their take on the Oscars.
I hope she does. That would be great. That's a speculation that Demi will get the Oscar this year. But that would be good because I've always been a Demi Moore fan. And
Sean says For Sale is a great new movie.
I'm sure there's a million great movies we need to see. New movies.
Well, I'm reading the comments.
I know. I'm just saying. I just feel like I think we're behind like 10 years on.
Yeah, and Roman thinks Demi will win an Oscar. I hope she does.
Yeah, I hope she does.
I like
too.
her.
I think she deserves it. Oh look, another movie to see a striptease. That's a pretty good.
Rebel Ghoul says The Substance was so good. OMG.
You don't even know what the hell you're in for. That's what's great about the movie.
Ed Burge, where do you find the scares?
Oh, we just showed you.
Scares.
Not
like scares.
Scares.
We have to watch how we say that. It's not scares. It's scares.
So, yeah.
And it's on the Horror Addicts YouTube channel.
There you go.
Yeah, so that's what you need to look for. So type in Horror Addicts and subscribe to their channel, and the Scares will be on YouTube March 7th, 2025.
They have a whole thing. If you subscribe, you'll get a notification close to when it's going to start, so you can't miss it.
March 7th, so then if you click subscribe and the little bell, you'll get a notification when they go live.
Yeah, it's all there. All the information's there. Get a pen and pencil, write it down. However you got to remember it. Have a calendar hanging up.
There you go.
Right on your calendar.
Put an alert on your phone or something.
Not
yes.
AHH, not AWW.
Mm-hmm.
And if you miss it, then you might go, scared. But if you see it, it's going to be Godzilla -1. We haven't seen that yet either.
I know. We need to see the new Godzilla.
We're behind multiple years of good stuff.
We're so behind on movies.
I know that was like 2 years ago, I think, or a year ago at least. Fulton, is that...
I saw the new Nosferatu, not bad, says KBK.
I need to see it for myself.
Gary says, saw The Seven Faces of Dr. Lau when it came out at the drive-in.
I don't even know that one.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one. Cool. Okay, guys. Well, we're going to sign off now because we're going to try to get that video done. And
one more movie that we saw we can talk about real quick.
Okay, which one?
Was the documentary, which you didn't want to sit through, but I would have recommended to people like documentaries. It's an older movie. Came out maybe about, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago, maybe even a little bit before that. It's called The Devil and Daniel Johnston.
Oh, that artist guy.
Well, he was a musician. He had some issues.
Well,
he was on
they would say
he was on the spectrum. Well, it was more going on with the guy. I think he was a manic depressive.
He had some mental health issues.
Yeah, he was a manic depressive.
But he put out a lot of interesting art and music.
Oh my God!
I didn't at the time. I'll watch it at some point. At the time, I just didn't feel up for sitting through it.
Yeah, I know. But I'm just letting people know that so you don't have to worry about commenting on it. But I love this. I've been aware of this documentary and this person for a while now. But I finally sat down and watched the actual documentary. And it's actually on YouTube. But The Devil and Daniel Johnston is a very interesting look at somebody who is super hyper-focused. The guy created his own music on doing overdubs on 2 cassette decks. Played guitar a little bit, played piano and keyboard stuff. But he also was an artist. But this was a lifelong thing for him. Very much in his own world. And and it's very bittersweet, the whole thing, but I just think it was very interesting. You get to see somebody with this concentrated talent that he was actually on MTV. He had a little bit of a bright spot on MTV in the early 90s, I think, or late 80s, and then that just fizzles and like everything else.
Yeah,
but
the 15 minutes of fame.
But definitely check that out. And there's a lot of other stuff on YouTube about the guy's supplementary stuff that's not in the actual documentary. But anyway.
Okay, Groovy Ghoulies. Well, thank you so much. Okay, just Late Night with the Devil, says Sean. Yeah, that's a good one. Karis Hell. Carousel is a wonderful movie.
Oh my God. That
Steve Rudzinski is a wonderful filmmaker.
That reinvents the independent movie for me.
Yes, it's about a killer carousel horse.
Yes, you heard her right.
A killer carousel horse.
It goes rogue.
He gets mad with how people treat him, and he goes rogue, and he gets his revenge.
Yeah, and
it's really wacky.
Revenge, but
it's really out there.
And gets his freak on. I'll just say that.
Yes, it's very it's definitely not for mini monsters. It's
no.
Very it has some very adult oriented scenes.
And trust me, you will be shocked. You will.
Yes.
You have never seen.
Once you see Carousel, you cannot unsee.
I guarantee there's things you've never seen. If you think you've seen it out there, you're wrong.
You're wrong. You need
100% wrong.
Support indie filmmakers. Check out Carousel.
It's a blast, yeah.
On that note, guys, good night, good fright, and we'll see you around.
Love you. See you next time.
Be
Bye.
good.